So Billie Eilish has brought Spirited Away back into the spotlight with her new song Chihiro, and I have to capitalize. You give me an excuse to talk about a Miyazaki masterpiece, and I'm gonna do it. Now, I thought I knew what this movie was about, but listening to Billie Eilish's latest album, I went back and rewatched the movie, and I felt like her music made me look at it in a completely different light. So today, we're gonna look at the work of Miyazaki and parallel it to Billie Eilish and find some beautiful, refreshing, life-changing meaning.
Daddy, chill.
My name is Kyle J. Shower, and welcome to the Kyle J. Show. Believe it or not, Billie Eilish and I have a lot of things in common. We both have a last name that people make fun of. We both have a brother. We both wear clothes, and we both love Spirited Away. The writer and director for Spirited Away is Hayao Miyazaki, who's really just a genius in the world of Japanese animation. He's like a creator of modern-day mythology. It's incredible storytelling, incredible world building, incredible meaning, and that's what we look at here. Because I'm not a movie critic or a music critic. I'm a meaning critic. From the very beginning of Billie Eilish's career, she cited Miyazaki as one of her main sources of inspiration.
I feel like I owe most of it to Spirited Away and like Miyazaki, and just the way that all that animation is, all the like no face and Spirited Away, the way that he just, oh my god.
Well, it's always been an implicit inspiration, not really in the forefront. Like, if you didn't know it was her inspiration, you probably wouldn't have guessed it. But in her new album, Hit Me Hard and Soft, she brings it to the forefront by naming one of her songs after the main protagonist, Chihiro. I guess at this point I should do a spoiler warning. Even though it's 20 years old, do I still have to do this? So the song Chihiro is interesting because it doesn't really have any direct correlation to the movie or the character Chihiro. I've looked online and seen people try to point out some direct correlations that I guess work. Like a lyric in it is, said you won't forget my name. And in Spirited Away, Chihiro is told that if she forgets her name, she won't be able to go back home.
I can't believe I forgot my name. She almost took it from me.
If you completely forget it, you'll never find your way home.
Or another lyric is where she says, saw your seat at the counter when I looked away, saw you turn around, but it wasn't your face. And people think this is a reference to where Chihiro's parents are at the counter eating and they get turned into pigs.
When Phineas saw Spirited Away as my brother, he was so scared from the parents turning into pigs that he had to go to therapy for like years because of it. Like, it f***ed him up, and I was like, F yeah. Like, I remember watching and being like, this is hard.
She's funny. There's a few other connections I've seen people try to make between the song and the movie, but I don't know, man. I feel like people are stretching a little bit. Billie even said in an interview that the song title might not have anything to do with the song.
The title of the song was one of my first inspirations on song titles and album titles being sentences and being like having nothing to do with the song. This is like one of my first moments of like, oh, the song title can be something that's beautiful on its own.
Trying to find these particular connections in the song and lyrics is cool, but I think the connections are a little more abstract, so I'm not sure if that's the best approach. And this all comes back to the nature of Billie's art and why she makes music.
Your intention does not have to be my interpretation.
Exactly. Like, I have my own reasons that it works for me, but they're not important to mention. You know what I mean? It's like, to me, I have my own, it's kind of like with music, you know? It's like, this is what this song means to me, but I want it to mean something else to everybody else. That's like what art is for. It's for interpretation.
Artists are not philosophers, so I'm not going to judge her as one. And truthfully, I get her point. She doesn't create music for us to find the meaning of her particular situation. She creates music for us to find meaning for ourselves. So I think a better approach to her music is to pull out general, universal meanings that we can then take away from in our own lives. So that's what I'm going to do. When finding connections between Spirited Away and Billie Eilish's music, I'm going to put them into a dialogue of universal meaning. Rather than trying to find a particular aspect of the music that directly correlates to a particular aspect of the movie, I'm going to find the general themes and meanings of the music and relate it to the general themes and meanings of the movie. And the first theme I want to look at is the fear of change. Hit Me Hard and Soft is the first album that Billie's created as an adult.
I was an adult for the first time. I've never been an adult making music before, and that was weird. That was very weird. Everything I've ever made has been while I am a teenager.
And that's a pretty big deal. The experiences we have and the way we experience things as an adult is much different than when we're kids or teenagers. One of the most challenging aspects of this move into adulthood is dealing with change. Of course, we deal with change when we're kids, but like I was saying, it's different different when your brain is fully developed and you're your own autonomous person. The song Chihiro talks specifically about the difficulty of dealing with some loved one in her life who has changed. I'm gonna be straight up, I don't know Billie Eilish lore like that, so I don't know who this person is. A friend, family member? I mean, it sounds like it's a romantic partner, but to be honest, it doesn't sound like she wants us to know her whole life story, so I didn't do any research into it. We're keeping things general today, and all we need to know is that there's some relationship where she feels like this person is changed. In the lyrics of the song, there's a line that says, I got change you can borrow. It's like a double entendre where she's saying, I got change, like she's dealing with the way this person is changing, but also I got change, like she's got money that she wants to offer to the person. And I think this speaks to the fact that she wants to help them with whatever they're going through. All of this is shown in the first half of the music video where she's looking and chasing some person who keeps trying to avoid her.
The whole first half is like I'm like searching for him. I'm frustrated with him, and it's like he won't let me help him, and all I'm trying to do is help him.
As the video goes on, she eventually catches up to this person and they get into a fight, which might represent that she's trying to fight this change from happening. The second half of the music video does a 180-degree turn where she's no longer doing the chasing, but she's the one being chased.
Well, 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 how the turntables...
Now, it might be that she realized there's nothing she can do about it. This person has changed. And because of that, she's struggling to accept it and is scared, trying to run away from it.
I think it's like a lot of metaphors. The whole video is like a lot of metaphors. The metaphors for like when you fall into love or you fall into any kind of pattern in life or like something inevitable, a feeling that's inevitable. It's just gonna happen, you know? And then the chasing in the field is kind of that. It's like, you can run from it, but it's gonna get ya.
I think this quote really brings home this theme of dealing with change in the song. It expresses the difficulty of falling in love with the person and then having to watch them change into someone that disrupts that love in some way. And along with that, I think she's also saying that change itself is inevitable and is going to happen no matter how much you try and fight it. When we look at Chihiro, the character from Spirited Away, we see a lot of these same ideas. Spirited Away is a coming-of-age story, much like where Billie is at in real life, where she's literally coming of age. No, Drake. Bad Drake.
Drake is like the nicest dude I've ever spoken to.
No, Drake. Bad Drake. Bad Drake. Anyways, I could argue that the entire story of Spirited Away is just one big metaphor for dealing with change. The movie starts with Chihiro and her family driving to their new home in a new town where her dad just landed some new job. Everything in her life is changing and she's terrified.
I'm not going. It gives me the creep.
Don't be such a scaredy cat, Chihiro.
If you don't know the story, I mean, it's been 20 years, dude. What are you doing? But on the way to their new spot, her parents get distracted by some abandoned-looking amusement park. And when they go to check it out, they overstay their welcome, and when the sun goes down, all these spirits show up, and they get stuck in the spirit world. Hence the name of the movie, Spirited Away. Chihiro's journey through this spirit world is really just a depiction of her journey to becoming an adult and dealing with change. The entire adventure shows her conquering fear after fear after fear, and as it progresses, she becomes more and more capable of handling the scary realities of change. The spirit realm is kind of like this grand mythological expression of what we all experience when we go through some massive, terrifying change in our life. It can feel as though you've been thrown into something unrecognizable, confusing, and out of this world. This all points to the next theme that connects Billie Eilish and the character Chihiro, and that they're both thrown into an unfamiliar realm. Things that are dramatically unfamiliar, and especially change that is unfamiliar, is one of the most challenging things we have to face in life. Billie Eilish seems to have been going through something like this, and once again expresses it through her song Chihiro. I mean, for starters, the song itself has a very unfamiliar structure. It's not your typical verse, chorus, bridge kind of song. It's a 5-minute song that kind of just goes where it wants. Even in the music, it switches from this drum and bass in the pocket feel to a massive synth sound wall of emotion. 1 second you're sitting there grooving, and the next second you're flying through space questioning all your life's decisions. I mentioned earlier a lyric in the song that says, "Saw you turn around, but it wasn't your face." While people think it's alluding to the pig scene in the movie,
Yeah.
if we just take it for what it is, I think she's talking about the way this person has changed into someone that she no longer recognizes. There's another part of the song where she repeats, "I don't know you at all." And this just reiterates the fact that this person has become unfamiliar to her. In the chorus, or the pre-chorus, or whatever you want to call it, she says, "Open up the door, can you open up the door?" This might refer to the way the person has shut her out of her life. We can dig a little bit deeper into this lyric, seeing that the cover art for Hit Me Hard and Soft Soft has this door swung open on the surface of water, and it shows Billie sinking, falling away from that door. And the same imagery is used in the music video for Chihiro. I think this all points to the idea that she's been shut out from some familiar person, familiar space, and has now been thrown into something unfamiliar. Water like this is a very common symbol for the unconscious, or the unknown, or the unfamiliar. So this imagery shows us the way she's surrounded and is sinking deeper and deeper into the unfamiliar realm. And we actually see the same symbolism in Spirited Away, as this large body of water is what separates Chihiro from turning back to her familiar human world. Another thing about the album artwork itself is that it has unfamiliar imagery. Why is there a door in the water? Why is she sinking rather than floating? Why are her feet exposed? No, Drake! Bad Drake! No!
A lot of my inspirations for the visuals on this album were like optical illusion type things, like things that just make you question it or think about it for longer.
I think these optical illusions do a good job at expressing what it feels like to be in something unfamiliar. When you're not sure what's going on around you externally, you're probably going to struggle to know what's going on internally. Your thoughts, emotions, and feelings can be very confusing, and a lot of it can feel contradictory or paradoxical. And this is something you see pop up all over the album. The name of the album is Hit Me Hard and Soft. There's a lyric in the song Skinny where she says, "Feeling off when I feel fine." Another song in the album, Birds of a Feather, is a song that feels happy, but it's actually about something sad.
It's giving happy, but it's not actually.
All these so-called contradictions show us what it feels like to be in an unfamiliar realm. And nothing might depict this better than this spirit realm in Spirited Away. Billie Eilish's musical expression of being in an unfamiliar realm is very similar to Miyazaki's cinematic expression of being in an unfamiliar realm. If you really pay attention, almost every shot of the spirit realm has something unfamiliar to our real world, which makes for really dope world building. Whether it's things that are more subtle like a train that skims over water, or something out there like a giant baby. It's all things that we just don't see in the real world. The most obvious unfamiliar thing about the spirit world is that it personifies all sorts of aspects of our reality. Radishes are personified. Rivers are personified. Stink is personified. Miyazaki was heavily influenced by the ancient Japanese religion of Shinto. In Shinto, they believe in these divine beings called kami that make up our entire reality. Now, there's other YouTubers out there that have done a great job analyzing the mythology behind Spirited Away, so I'm not going to do that here. If you're interested, I think this guy did a great job. But for what we're doing here today, I think that there's something in this idea that helps us work through unfamiliarity. The ways in which we personify things and put them into narrative fashion help us gain an understanding of the things around us. You know me, I'm all about the narratives. I think the way we consciously experience everything in reality is through our narrative with reality. This is why we love Pixar movies so much. It's toys personified, cars personified, emotions personified. I mean, we'll take our kids to go see it, but you know you love it too. And you might even connect with it on a deeper level than any kid does. You didn't cry in Toy Story 3? Shut up. Putting our reality into narrative opens up our imagination in a way that discloses deeper aspects of our reality. It's something we've been doing for a very long time. The Shinto religion is thousands of years old. The world that Miyazaki built not only does a great job at depicting the unfamiliar realm Billie Eilish feels like she's in, but it also offers an effective way to work through it and understand it. And an understanding of the world was a big part of the process in creating this album for Billie.
So we wrote it when Billie had her, I think Billie went from living life to understanding it.
So we've looked at how Billie Eilish and Miyazaki connect on themes like fear of change and being in an unfamiliar realm, but I think there's an even deeper connection that really grounds everything we've talked about, and that can be found in the theme of love. Throughout Hit Me Hard and Soft, the central, most obvious theme is love, and also lack of love. But when it comes to Spirited Away, love is not really the first theme that comes to people's mind. When I looked up opinions on YouTube, it's insane how many videos there are that look at the meaning of this movie as commentary on our social economic condition. They say it's about greed, the exploitation of labor, and all the evils of capitalism.
They are transformed into pigs, which are commonly used on Earth as a critical symbol of capitalist cultures that would bring about the eradication of humankind.
She's surviving in an exploitative capitalist structure that requires her not only to do labor for money, but also to maintain the emotional facade that she loves labor, and she loves her corporation, she loves every single customer.
The film also brings into focus the class hierarchy that a capitalist society helps create, as the working class toils away for the benefit of the upper class.
I mean, I get it. Talking about how capitalism is bad is a great way to get free clicks, but come on guys, we can be a bit more original. There's so much to this story, and the entire theme of love seems to be completely overlooked. Now, a part of this might be the fact that our common idea of love is a little bit shallow. We don't really acknowledge the fact that there's different ways that we love. You know, the love I have for music and movies is different than the love I have for all the lovely people who go out of their way to watch my content. So you guys, I love you.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
And then that love is also different than the love I have for my dog here. Good boy. Today we only have one word for our concept of love, but if you go back and look at the ancient Greeks, they had multiple words for their concept of love. And then they had subcategories that broke it down even further. But I just want to look today at three of those words, which are Eros, Philia, and Agape. These three conceptions of love come up as a consistent theme in both the works of Billie Eilish and Miyazaki. First, we'll look at the word Eros. This is where we get our word erotic. So people immediately just think sex, passion, pleasure.
It is nice.
Which, yes, that's right, but it's also a little bit more than that. It's when you love something for what it does for you. It's like how you love a cookie for the taste, or you love a jacket for how it keeps you warm, or how you love Nicolas Cage for giving you such high-quality entertainment. The thing about this love is that it seeks to consume. In Hit Me Hard and Soft, we see Billie Eilish express the way she lacks Eros. The first song of the album is called Skinny, which infers that she's lacking consumption. There's a lyric in it that says, "The internet is hungry and somebody's gotta feed it." So while she's lacking consumption herself, she's constantly being consumed by others. Her desire for this kind of love is explicitly stated in The Greatest, where she sings a lyric that says, "All the times I waited for you to want me naked." Or at the end when she belts out, "Just wanted passion from you." And of course, the most obvious expression of Eros is in her hit song Lunch. The whole concept is about eating a girl for lunch. Consumption. She even has a line where she says it's a craving, not a crush. That really identifies the whole nature of Eros. This is one of the few upbeat, more positive feeling songs, but I don't know how positive it is, especially when you put it in context with the rest of the album. In it, she constantly uses phrases like, I could do this, or I could do that. And I don't know, to me, it feels like that language shows that she's imagining something. She's fantasizing about something that she doesn't have. So even though it is more upbeat, it seems to just reiterate the fact that she's lacking Eros in her life. Now, when it comes to Spirited Away, one of the biggest themes that people associate with the movie is this idea of consumption. And the YouTubers who saw this as a commentary on capitalism got this. I think it is speaking about the consumption problem we have in our culture. However, consumption itself is not the problem. The problem is that it's not Eros. There's no love for the things that are being consumed. You can see it in the parents when they turn into pigs due to their overconsumption.
Yeah.
It's most clearly seen in the No Face arc. After he eats one of the frog workers, he turns into a frog-like monster that just consumes everything. And he does this for like no reason. It's just consumption for consumption's sake. Both of these examples show what it looks like when we consume without love. In both the world of Billie Eilish and the spirit world, there is a lack of Eros. The next great concept of love is Philia. It's the type of love you have for a friend. It's more about the mutual benefit. It's a love about what we do for each other. So this love, rather than seeking to consume, seeks to cooperate. If you watch videos of Billie Eilish talk, you can see that she really values her friendships and everything about this kind of love.
I never get to shoot anything or do anything involving work with a friend aside from like my brother. That's why like this is cool, because you're my friend.
In an interview with her friend, Jenny Kim, she talks about how much it meant to have a close friend star in the music video for Chihiro.
I had this idea for Chihiro and I had my friend Nat in mind. It worked out and then he was in it and it was so cool because I didn't, have to hire somebody that I didn't know and somebody that I would have to like kind of be awkward around, just like somebody that's just like I'm bonded with, just like a true friend.
This love is also known as brotherly love, and all of her music is literally done in cooperation with her brother. Once again, when we go through Hit Me Hard and Soft, we see a lack of Philia. Remember in the song Chihiro, she's asking for this person to open up the door. She's been shut out, and this just shows the way this person is refusing to cooperate. In her song L'amour de ma vie, there's a lyric that says, I did what I could, you made it so hard. Or in her other song, The Greatest, she says, all my love and patience unappreciated. And in the same song, she says, just wanted what I gave you. All this shows that there's a deep lack of cooperation, or Philia. In Spirited Away, we see the same kind of lack. When Chihiro gets a job working at the bathhouse, you see all the workers cooperating, I guess, but it's definitely not Philia. The best example of this is seen in the woman running it all named Yubaba. This woman runs a tight ship. Look at those mechanical movements mastered to maximum efficiency. Literally. At one point, this big-ass stink spirit shows up, and Yubaba has Chihiro wash it all by herself and just laughs at her struggles rather than doing anything to help.
Disgusting.
When each spirit comes to work at the bathhouse, Yubaba takes their name from them.
That's how Yubaba controls you, by stealing your name.
Yubaba's bathhouse doesn't have cooperation rooted in love, it's cooperation rooted in control. The spirits aren't cooperating because they want to, they're cooperating because they have to. It's essentially slave labor.
And work you until you breathe your very last breath.
As you can see in both the world of Billie Eilish and the spirit world, there's a lack of Philia. The last concept of love we'll be looking at is Agape. This type of love is unconditional. It's like the love a parent has for their child, or the love God has for all the children of the world.
Oh my God! Wow!
This might be the most powerful kind of love because you love something not for what it does for you, but solely for what it is. So it's not like the other ones that seek to consume or cooperate. This love seeks to care. And the entire album hit me hard and soft from start to finish. I think you can feel how deeply Billie Eilish cares for whoever she's talking about. In Birds of a Feather, she sings, "I'll love you to the day that I die," showing that her care goes beyond life itself. In the song Bittersweet, her care runs so deep that it seems to put her in this weird mental state. She says things like, "I don't need to breathe when you look at me," or "If this is how I die, that's all right." And she talks about this dream she had where she was on her knees before this person, as if she was willing to give herself completely to them. And I don't mean that sexually, you sickos! I mean, it might have been sexual, she didn't really give us details. But I'm talking about when you give yourself up for someone else. It shows the sacrificial nature of Agape. And the greatest, she really sums up this kind of love when she says that she's doing what's right without a reward. Despite all the way she deeply cares for this person, we've seen all the lyrics that point to the way she isn't on the receiving end of any of that care. And she really longs for it. Now before you say, "I thought the whole point was to love without expecting anything in return." This is true, but I think you can love someone without expecting anything in return while also feeling the desire to have someone care and pour love into you. Both can be felt at the same time and both are valid. In Spirited Away, we can return to the bathhouse. The bathhouse is where the spirits come to be cared for.
It's a bathhouse for the spirits. It's where they come to replenish themselves.
So there's plenty of care going on here, but as you might have guessed, their care has no love. The spirits working for the bathhouse don't care for the customers out of their love for them, or even any general love of being hospitable. They're only looking for money, power, and bitches. Okay, maybe not bitches. Nobody exposes their hidden motivations better than No Face. When he starts passing out gold, they literally worship him. They bow down to him and shower him with praises.
Oh, everybody bow down.
If they were really caring out of love, they would treat every customer like that. But no, the only reason No Face gets special treatment is because he's got gold. There is care, but no love. In both the world of Billie Eilish and the spirit world, there is a lack of Agape. Eros, Philia, and Agape cannot be found in both Billie Eilish and Chihiro's experience in realms full of change and unfamiliarity. The song Chihiro explicitly states this with the opening lyric, "To take my love away." Not only does this express how the person she loved has been taken from her, but also that love itself has been taken from her along with it. In Spirited Away, it's explicitly stated by the character Kamaji.
Haku, I'll be back soon. Just hold on.
What's going on?
Something you wouldn't recognize. It's called love.
While love is unrecognizable in the spirit realm, in that scene you can see the redeeming nature of Chihiro and how she brings love into spaces where there is none. Throughout the whole story, you can see the way she brings Eros, Philia, and Agape into the spirit realm. When it comes to Eros, she chooses to consume only that which she loves. She doesn't overconsume or consume for consumption's sake. When No Face offers her all the bath cards she could ever want or all the gold she could ever want, she denies it. She's there to save her parents. Therefore, no matter what you offer her, she's only going to take that which gets her closer to that goal. A goal that is ultimately rooted in love. When it comes to Philia, she cooperates with everyone. I mean, partially because she has to or she'll die, but also it's genuine. And you can tell that by the way it affects the people around her. At one point, the giant baby and the big bird head thing were enemies trying to kill her. And by the end of it, they're all buddies. When the stink spirit shows up, she realizes there's a thorn in his side and actually gets Yubaba and the entire bathhouse to work together just for the sake of helping the spirit out. And of course, the most obvious example of Philia is her relationship with Haku. I don't give a shit what people say. This was a platonic relationship. Not everything has to be romantic. Plus, she's like 12 and he's like a river. What the f? The love she showed Haku was so strong that it ended up breaking the curse that Yubaba put on her.
Pure love. It broke Zaniba's spell. Sen left to return the golden seal. She did it to save you.
And at last we come to Agape. Throughout the whole movie, we watch Chihiro put others before herself and truly care for others, even when it's against her best interest to do so. In the boiler room, she cares for the soot spirit when the cold crushes the poor thing. All the soot spirits then make her their god after that. It's amazing. That act of care actually moves Kamaji and leads him to stick his neck out for her.
Thank the boiler man, you idiot. You know he's really sticking his neck out for you.
After she cares for the stink spirit, it gives her this healing fruit, and she wants to use it to save her parents, but there's a point where Haku gets so badly hurt that she offers half of it to him. And then later, when No-Face is running around like a psychopath, she decides to help and use the rest of the fruit to heal him. That last bit could have been used to save her family, but she uses it on the dude that's going around eating everybody. It makes no rational sense, but Agape is irrational. It's a pure, sacrificial, unconditional love. Tired of hearing about love yet? Too bad! It was through love that Chihiro was able to conquer her fear of change and deal with being in an unfamiliar realm. When really intense change and unfamiliarity comes our way, most people's immediate reaction is to go into fight or flight, like we saw Billie Eilish do in the music video for the song Chihiro. However, in all the changes and unfamiliarity of the spirit realm, the character Chihiro chose to respond with love. She kept love as a constant throughout it all. Her eyes were set on it. Everything she was doing had a higher purpose that made whatever was going on around her something manageable. With each act of love, she gained more and more courage that by the end of it, she was just chilling.
A new home and a new school. It is a bit scary.
I think I can handle it.
Love got her to that point. Love is the way to conquer the fear of change and the unfamiliar. In all the beautiful ways we've seen Chihiro exhibit Eros, Philia, and Agape to overcome all the challenges in the spirit realm, it's worth noting that her impact on the spirits is left pretty open-ended. We don't know if she inspired the spirits in the bathhouse into some life-changing insight that made them all start loving one another. I think this was intentionally done to show us that love is not meant to be just another tool to be used at our will. Love is meant to set you on a journey that puts you into proper relationship with life itself. For Billie Eilish, this was expressed through the relationships between person to person. Through her desire for love, we can reflect on our own relationships and be conscious about trying to bring Eros, Philia, and Agape to the people around us. For Miyazaki, the emphasis was much more about having a proper relationship between people and all of reality. That would include things like nature, our philosophies, our creations, or even our social political environment. Miyazaki wants us to reflect on the ways that we consume, cooperate, and care for reality, so that we can make sure even that relationship is one that is ultimately grounded in love. All right, that's all I got. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you heard today, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.